Hi friends, David Watts here with another quick Luminar video. This is similar to the video I just posted. This is an original file from the Pixel 2, the new smartphone from Google. Good camera, great ratings. It's kind of fun for me to take these. These are publicly available image files, and presumably they're straight out of the camera. It's kind of fun to take these and see what we can do with them in Luminar. I think it's a fun way to learn to use Luminar, to practice with some style and some techniques, and just see a little bit more about what the camera does and how it does. So here's an image they freely posted and shared, and a young man playing a small guitar. I don't know if that's the technical word for it or if it's more like a ukulele or something, but anyway, a musical instrument. And I think it's interesting on this particular image to go a little different direction. If you've seen some of the previous videos, especially on women models, the skin smoothing sort of approach can be very effective as well as appreciated. But on this one, let's try something a little different. And again, I typically start with the Accent AI filter just to get a sense of kind of where we are and where we might go. And as you can see, we'll flip it off and back on. It did a lot right away to bring up some of the shadows. Probably introduced some noise down in this area, typical of small sensors and cameras in our phones. It might be good to back that off just a bit, and I think that's about right. So original and what we have now. I might even back it off just a bit more. I like to bring up the shadows a little bit, but not go crazy with it. And then I think the thing that's kind of interesting to do is play with structure here just a bit. Because I think this potentially has a feel that deserves to be a bit grittier. I think there's a lot of texture. The man's skin, his hands, strikes me as an outdoor sort of fella, maybe a ranch hand, that sort of thing. There's wood grain, there's the grain of his scarf, probably a wool scarf. Just seems to be a lot of texture and kind of fun to sort of accentuate that texture. And I think by increasing the structure filter, we get some of what we're looking for. Maybe even a bit of clarity. That tends to add a little bit of sharpness as well. And I do like to often back off the saturation just a bit and maybe bring up the vibrance. That keeps the skin tones a little more subdued but preserves some of the colors for us. We might even try the highlights and shadows here. And just the best I can say is it's fun to experiment and see what we get. By backing off the highlights, we've brought up some of the blue sky. If we go back to the way it was before, it's all kind of washed out. Certainly if we go to the other end of the spectrum, it's more washed out. But if we back this off a bit, and then playing with the shadows a bit more, and that's probably what the Accent AI filter is doing a fair amount of, is boosting those shadows, probably with a similar effect to this. And then maybe finally a little brightness adjustment and or some contrast. I think that has the potential to be a better picture then. Here's where we started, and we didn't have much in the way of sky. I think the texture was somewhat diluted. Notice the hand, for example. And now we come back to where we are now, and just more texture. I think more character to the photo, and I think that has real potential. You have one other thing that, I mean, there are lots of other filters, but of the set that I typically use, you again might try to play around with highlights a bit, and again it's just good to experiment sometimes, as well as midtones, and that doesn't do a huge amount for us, but we're trying the shadows again, and again, I don't think that does a huge amount. But I like the photo where we've landed. Kind of vague and mushy, perhaps, and now a little more gritty. And it's a reminder to me of what we can do in Luminar. We can get pretty quick results. And it's a reminder this is a camera and a phone, and get good quality. So I'm a big iPhone user, but you have to appreciate the competition in the market and the improving quality of the smartphone cameras. Anyway, I hope this might help a bit. I hope it's valuable to see some techniques that I use, and maybe the lesson learned is don't do it like I do it. And if so, that's great, and it's worthwhile, and you've learned something. Thanks for watching. If you like the videos, tell a few friends, click like and subscribe to us, and we'll try to keep adding more as opportunity permits. Thanks. Have a great day.